I feel like a failure and I have no fight left in me. My name is Isaiah. I have never done anything like this where I'm really kind of like exposing all and the many facets and parts in my life. Never done this outside of like my close friends. My close friends. I am a black gay man born and raised in South Carolina, the South. That just being in the South in general imposes a lot. It brings a lot of things just from me being a black man in the South. But when you throw in like sexuality and you throw in like misogyny and you throw in things like that, it makes everything much more murky. Now, mind you, I have been gay longer than most people are willing to maybe admit or say, especially in the South. I recognized that something was different about me as early as 5 years old. No one ever groped me, like no adult ever molested me or anything like that. I just always knew that I liked things in boys that looked like me, and I didn't like girls. I didn't necessarily think it was a bad thing. My first time, the first time I was kind of checked on that was, I can remember this, I was a child. I was a child and I was singing the song, That's Just My Baby Daddy, That's Just My Baby Daddy. And my uncle, one of my uncles was like, That's just your baby mama. And me being a child, like I was just singing the song as I knew it and as I had heard it. I wasn't thinking about pronouns and I wasn't thinking about like sexuality in that capacity. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't thinking about that. Growing up, I got along with my siblings. I have three sisters. To this day, we were very, very close. We get along very, very well. I'm close with my mom. I did grow up in a religious household, so throwing in religion with my natural desires, how I feel, what feels right to me as an individual coming up into the world, it was always this. It was always like this kind of like, you know what I'm saying? And this series is about me really really connecting with people who are black and LGBTQ. I mean, this isn't like a all lives matter thing. It's not that. Like if other people relate to it, they get what I'm coming from, and I love that. But I'm sharing my experiences as this type of vessel, as this type of person, with the hopes of people just like me get it and they understand. I had support in my household in terms of like my dreams. I was always pushed to pursue music. I was always kind of given the look as a child prodigy. So my projection in life was I was to be the star. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just saying that to like that was the projection all through like grade school, music classes, private tutorial for music classes, high school. I've always just really excelled at arts, and my mom always made sure I had the means to and the resources to be able to develop that. She always bought me music instruments. Whatever I wanted to play, she was willing to get. Whenever I wanted to take a lesson, she was willing to pay for that lesson. You know what I'm saying? She was willing to invest into the development of my art. So that's one thing I will forever be grateful for. I remember I was 14 years old and that's when I started playing for church. Now, mind you, even before then, like I said, me being a black gay boy, which I knew I was at the time, kids are cruel. Kids are cruel, but adults are cruel too. I, especially the adults in the church, they really like, I feel like for me in particular, always had me under a microscope because I was a church musician, you know what I'm saying? And now thinking back at it, I don't understand like I don't understand how I did it. I don't understand how I did it. I don't understand how I survived like, and at this point I'm still a teenager. Life hasn't even started to whip my ass yet. Life has not even started to whip my ass. And even growing up in school, I was teased, I was bullied. Kids are cruel. I mean, I was a kid and I get it. I get it. Kids are terrible. Probably more so then because back then being gay was like not a cool thing. You didn't want people to know that. They would beat you up. I mean, they still do it now, but they would beat you up and there was no vindication, no vindicate. I'm sorry, there was no vindication because there was no cameras, you know, to expose people and kids like that, like there is now. So you just kind of took it all and you took it for what it was. Like I said, with that coinciding with my home life, it was really fucking tough. And I cried a lot. I cried a lot. Eventually, I did make friends who were kind of going through the same thing, but like I said, we didn't. We understood each other, and we knew like even though they weren't into arts, we were black, we were kids, like teenagers, and we were gay. So there was a respect that we had for each other and a bond that we grew, which I think most of the time it happens. So I'm still developing, like I said, I'm developing my art and my love for music. I get into theater for a bit, but it was this. It was this. Being that I was in a religious household, I wouldn't say that I felt comfortable. I wouldn't say that I felt comfortable most of the time. 100% of the time. I'm not going to say that. Most of the time I was. Most of the time I felt safe. But there were times where I just kind of felt like I can't even be me at school. I can't be me in the streets. I can't be me in church. And I can't be me at home. And that, to me, like, that's what kind of started the whole, like, people pleasing thing. Because for most of my life, I've been a people pleaser. Not one to disappoint. I'm getting out of it now that I'm getting older. I'm just kind of like, how you feel about it is not my problem. It's not my issue. I know I'm all over the place, but I'm just talking because I've never talked like this. Then getting into the high school years, I don't know why. I don't know. I feel like that was me. I peaked in high school. In terms of like my gift, I don't even know if it was my gift. Maybe my ambition was at its peak. I really wanted it. I could have graduated and gone. I could have graduated and did the band thing and do music scholarships. I didn't want to take up music because I had been doing music my entire life up until that point already. So I do wonder what my life would have been like if I would have went that route. After graduating high school, I would say I started dating seriously. I mean, I had like high school puppy love, but I never had like a serious relationship. And like at this point, come out to, I hadn't come out to, you know, my mom, my family. I hadn't done that. One day, my mom woke me up like really, really late, really, really late, or really, really early, however you want to look at it. And she asked me the question about my sexuality, and she never told me what made her ask. She never, I guess parents know. Come to find out, I found out that I guess what maybe propelled her to do it was because she found the Noah's Ark. You all remember Noah's Ark, the TV show on Logo? She found the DVD under my mattress. I don't know why she was under my mattress. Like, I don't know why she was in my room, in the room that I was occupying, but black parenting. It's my house, I can do. It's kind of that. Probably a bit of nosiness too. And she asked me about it, and she brought up a lot of things. I would say things that were kind of stigmatizing about black gay men. And I'll let y'all, I'm not trying to get the channel flagged for that, but stuff that was stigmatizing. I didn't, around that time, like I said, I was dating somebody, and I was preparing to move out. Granted, I think I'm maybe 19 or 20 years old, 21 years old, maybe 22, in my early 20s. And it was like, you can't be this and stay here. So I left. I left. Before I was ready. You know what I'm saying? Before I was ready to take on the world, I was, I'm the blame. I'm not blaming anyone, but before I was ready to take on the world, I was out there. You know what I'm saying? I was out there. And with no real survival preparation or survival instinct, moved in with, me and my boyfriend at the time. We moved in together, and we started to fall apart. We started to fall apart. We ended up moving to Dallas, Texas together. Mind you, I'm all the way out. All of my family's in South Carolina. I did make friends through work and stuff and develop relationships, like a sense of family there. But I was away from everything I knew. And, I cheated. I don't mind saying that I cheated. With dealing with that, we stayed together and we moved to Texas. But the problems didn't stop. We were plagued by financial issues because we were both still kids. He was younger than me. He was like a year younger than me. So think about it, 2021, 22. For one, hormonal. He had been out longer than me. Like, he had been like on his own, but he didn't have like good money management. I think he had good survival instincts. So, maybe that was kind of like the balance. But we started arguing, and I remember I got up and I left. I told him though, I was like, you're getting ready to lose me. Because at this point, he had been caught on Jacked. I had caught him on Jacked. I caught him on Jacked. This is all over the place. But I'm just giving you like a pretty much basic rundown of like my life and stuff like that before I get into the big stuff in future videos. So you guys know how I got here. You know what I'm saying? You guys knew how I got to this moment of feeling like a failure and feeling like I've lost and I don't have any fight left in me. So I packed up my car and I drove back, and my sister was gracious enough to let me stay with her and her family. She had her own family, and she took me in. She took me in, and I stayed with her for about a year to get back on my feet, and then I moved back on my own. And through this time, I was not dating. Um, I was, it was more so like hookup culture. I didn't want to deal with people. Being at this point 23, 24 years old. Um, got a good job, and I was with that job for 5 years. And then comes like 2018. And this is like the tower moment. Now that I think about it, when I lost that job, that was when like my world has changed. And ever since then, felt like I was just, I felt like I was, I've been drowning ever since then. I felt like since then I couldn't get control over my life. And the music didn't take off. I stopped singing. I mean, I had been in a band, so I did have that. And I started a separate YouTube channel based on music. So I did have that, but my spark was gone because like my glow on life was starting to fade. And I realized that as I was getting older, there's a bit of ageism. I thought I thought my life was over. Like I felt like okay, it's felt that way ever since. So lost the job. With losing your job, you lose finances. With losing your finances, you can't pay your bills. I lost my car in a car accident. I lost my apartment and I had to move back to my hometown. I had to move back in with my parents, which I don't have any qualms about that. I'm grateful, you know. But when you're under your parents' roof, or at least for me, there was this expectation like you're gonna go to church and you're gonna. But that's not how I felt. That's not what I wanted to do. At this point, you know, who wants to be almost 30 and people are telling you what to do? You know what I'm saying? On top of that, you know, you don't have your own space to comfortably be you. You know what I'm saying? You still have to kind of hide, not hide, but you have to kind of put stuff over there to not rock the wave in the house that you're staying in. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, I got alcohol, heavy into alcohol. That's kind of when it started because I had nowhere else to go, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm still battling that, and I'm being honest with myself, and I'm still trying to manage that. But it's just the reality was starting to sit in, like all this shit is happening, and I'm getting older, and my bones hurting. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't even touched the surface of the this. I haven't even touched the surface, you know. And then people, as you get older, you stop hearing people pushing you because now they see you're getting older. They have other responsibilities, and you start to feel like your sun has gone down. You start to feel like you don't have anything else to offer because other people aren't telling you at this point that you have stuff to offer. I always remember there was one time I was at church. It was at a choir rehearsal. We had a guest preacher come in that would kind of was teaching us for like a service, and he looked at me and he said, "I know you think your time has come and gone. I know you I know you think your time is come and gone, but it's just beginning. You haven't even touched the surface yet." However, I'm still in my tower moment. I'm still fighting. I'm still fighting at that point, and even till now. I ended up getting a job at a hotel, and it was cool. Like it wasn't hard, it wasn't difficult. It started to get bad because of them being understaffed. I was getting overworked. I was getting overworked, and it was like You get off. I work 11. It was 1 week in particular. I worked 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Got off at 7 a.m. and had to be back at 3 p.m. that same day. That same day. Got off at 11 that night. Go home and come back at 7 the next day. And so I just knew at that point, like, okay, no, this isn't healthy. I'm not going to stand. But like, I love these people, but I started to kind of take the balls. You know, I started to be like, okay, no, I'm not going to do this. You know what I'm saying? Ended up quitting, and I got another job. Was working from home, and I was doing that for a good while. I was doing that for a great while. Um, for about 2.5 years, all while dealing with my living situation. Um, my mom, she was loving enough to give me her truck. You know, it's nothing like a mother's love, even if they don't necessarily agree with some of the choices you make with your life. There's nothing like a mother's. There's been nothing like my mother's love and the love of my sisters. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I started going to parties. I started at this point. I'm partying a lot, and I'm not really like I'm staying out because obviously like I'm a man of a particular age, so I'm going out and I'm staying out all night, which I think is normal. But like I said, when you're living in other people's houses, um, they may not want all of that in and out. You know what I'm saying? They might try to tell you what to do because it's their house. That's fine. So I ended up leaving, and I ended up leaving, moving out, and I went to stay with a friend, a really good friend at the time. Um, she had her own family. She had kids, which was like, uh, I'm not really a kid person, but she was gracious enough to open up her home to me. She was gracious enough to open up her home to me. And I would give her money. Give her money because I don't expect something for nothing. Like that's not, that's not realism. You expect something for nothing. So she let me stay with her. Um, and it was fine. I don't, the energy kind of shifted there too. This is me projecting. I think she would say like, I don't mind you being here. But then every so often she would ask like, okay, when are you planning on leaving? And, you know, I do think that maybe there was like some space issues. Like maybe I think she wanted her home back as she knew it and wanted to get back to normality. Her normal. Okay. Ended up getting my own place again. And at this point, I am dating. At this point, I'm dating. I get my own place, and then I lose my job again. They laid us all off. At this point, we're up into present time. I'm in the present. Lost the job, laid us off again. Um, my father died. I went viral and seeing like a lot of people say things and on top of. Now I'm being reminded like how that this moment took me back to my childhood of being reminded of like how the world sees me, and they see me as, I'll let you do with that as you will. But if you're black and you're gay and you grew up in the South and you have like, let's say, the religious parents and traditional, more conservative upbringing, you know what I'm talking about. You know what that feeling is. You know what that fight and that struggle is. Um, but this was a lot. But I do feel like I have lost control, and I don't know what to do at this point. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. On that note, I'm going to go. But if you can relate, thank you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. It's going to be more of these sit downs kind of videos and me kind of just sharing things. It's been a lot. Like the stuff the stuff I gave you in this 20 minutes, just imagine like decades of things. You know what I'm saying? Condensed down. Like I got a lot to say. Because I ain't even talk about dating. Like I haven't even talked about like dating and dealing with that, you know. And all right, has anyone else like felt this way? Like particularly people like who are millennials, like before the internet, and have y'all felt kind of stuck and just kind of lost? Am I the only one? Like you just don't know which way is up, and nobody can tell you. Nobody can tell you. But it is nice to. It would be nice if y'all can chime in and let me know if y'all been kind of experiencing the same kind of life burnout and losing faith in yourself. Y'all let me know.